Yo, how's it going, everybody? It is good to see you. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day. Me, myself, and I really can't say the same, considering I done fucked up my dumb ass, and nobody warned me about this before I went through with it, which is really funny. I thought y'all cared about me. I decided to complete not only Spider-Man PS4 this weekend, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And not only in one weekend, I completed both of those games in the span of 24 hours. So suffice it to say, your boy is going through some emotional stuff. If any of y'all have played the finales, y'all know what I'm talking about. So, while it's going to take a few more days for me to recover from the emotional trauma that both of those endings have done to me, I decided to switch things up a bit and talk about something that, it's funny. In order to avoid talking about something that you guys want me to talk about, I'm going to talk about something that you guys want me to talk about, that I had no indication whatsoever to make a video on. And I'm of course referring to Devil May Cry 5, ladies and gentlemen. Move fast, baby, don't be slow. We're going to be talking about its inclusion of microtransactions and how the industry has been flipped upside down. Or at least how certain people in YouTube comment sections will have you believe. Yes. For those of you guys who are unaware, Devil May Cry is a single-player focused action franchise. And the most recent game in the series, which is coming out March 2019, will give you the option to purchase things in-game with real-world currency in order to upgrade your character. Now, under normal circumstances, microtransactions being included in a single-player game should be cause for alarm, especially considering it is one of my favorite franchises. But if I'm being 100% real with y'all, I really don't care much. And no, before you guys say, oh, it's because you're such a big fanboy of this game that you are going to ignore all of these bad things that are happening. Just because you want your Devil May Cry 5, you're not going to take a stand here, but you're going to take a stand against Nintendo Online? You hypocrite. Yeah. Calm thyself for 1 second. Now here's the thing. Microtransactions inherently, I don't know if people know this, are not a bad thing. Microtransactions, as they were originally intended to be, were optional purchases. And for the vast majority of games that include in-game purchases, where you can use real-world currency to get better equipment, more gold, whatever, they've been optional and they haven't been intrusive. There are a lot of games, some of the most critically acclaimed games of the generation, that offer in-game purchases, yet nobody bats an eye. Do you want to know why? Because they are handled in a professional manner that doesn't take you, the gamer, for a fool. Are we really going to sit here and ignore the fact that one of the best games of the generation, one of the most critically acclaimed games of last year, Persona 5, are we just going to sit here and ignore that it had microtransactions? It had the ability for you to purchase things to make your Persona playing experience much smoother? Because if we were to ignore it here, yet criticize it in another game, wouldn't we be hypocrites? Are we going to sit here and ignore the fact that every single Tales game, at least in recent memory, has included microtransactions? The ability to purchase more gold, better weapons, a lot of things that can be unlocked in-game. Are we going to ignore that? Because I, for one, am not, even though I love the Tales games, with the exception of Zestiria. Who the hell greenlit that game? And it was an anniversary title? Like, bruh. Thank God Vesperia is coming back to the limelight. Anyways, yeah, games like Persona 5, games like Tales, a lot of Japanese games, in fact, have included the ability to purchase things to upgrade your character. But nobody made a big deal about it then. So why are we making a big deal about it now? Is it because it's being done in a major AAA game? Probably. Especially when you compare it to some of the other bigger AAA games who have suffered from this. And that is where I want to make the distinction between the companies. Now, I understand what you guys are saying. Companies like EA, Ubisoft, Activision, the way they handle microtransactions is completely egregious. Like, the way that they are crafting games around these in-game purchases, they're making it so it's that much harder for you to do everything in game, and they want you to spend the real world money to unlock this stuff, yeah, that is a major problem, and I will gladly pick up my tiki torches and pitchforks and boycott any of the games that do that. However, when it's handled the right way, when it's handled non-intrusively like it has been with a lot of Japanese games, I don't bat an eye, especially considering the last game in the Devil May Cry franchise, well, the latest re-release of said game, Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, had the ability for you to purchase orbs to upgrade your character faster. That game sold like hotcakes. A digital game. That game, people imported, but it had microtransactions. Maybe you were still able to do every single thing you could in-game, and that option was just optional. Maybe it was just for the noobs. Maybe it was just for the game journalist. Or maybe it was just for the people who don't want to get good at the game, so they're going to record angry rant videos on YouTube, even though we've caught these guys frauding playing games on the easiest difficulty. With things like lock-on aim. I don't know. It just seems to me like people are trying to find a hill to die on when it's not applicable in this situation, especially considering some of their favorite games have non-intrusive microtransactions. I'm just saying, you guys, I'm not going to sit here and defend it. I'm not going to say that this is a good thing for the industry. I just can separate what is a problem and what isn't. And something like this isn't. Now, it remains to be seen if this actually does play a big role in the gameplay of Devil May Cry 5. If the game is affected by this, if it is another Shadow of War where progression is tied to in-game purchases, then yes, I will gladly boycott Devil May Cry 5. And I will sit here on camera and admit that I was wrong. I should have listened to y'all. But as it stands, if it's going to be handled the same way as Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, this isn't a big deal. And I'm sorry, you guys, but there are bigger things to complain about in the industry than something like this. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the only way we can get the attention from these companies is to vote with our wallet. So if you believe strongly against the ability of a game to have in-game purchases for the noobs to go out there, then yes, vote with your wallet. Do not spend the $65 on Devil May Cry 5. But to that same token, to that same degree, if you're going to sit here and buy a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, where we know it's going to have crazy microtransactions like with Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, if you're going to buy that game and say, well, it's just optional, I don't know. It seems to me like you're being pretty selective here. Anyways, that's all I really want to say in this video, guys. People making an issue out of something that really is a non-issue. I mean, I understand the sentiment. I really do, as a person who, you know, is all in favor of keeping these companies accountable. I definitely get it. I seriously do, which is why I'm not saying you guys are all fucktards for doing this sort of thing. How dare you boycott this? You should be grateful. I'm not that type of person. Because if it was my favorite franchise and they were doing something bad like this, yeah. But if it's going to be handled in a way that it doesn't cause an issue for me, so be it. Let Capcom make money off of this game, off of all the noobs out there, because no self-respecting Devil May Cry fan is ever going to catch themselves buying these red orbs. I don't care how busy you are, you have time to upgrade your character. You can play through the game multiple times. You can do that because that's what us Devil May Cry fans do. We've been playing this series for close to 20 years. And you know how long we've been waiting for Devil May Cry 5? You think we're going to spend extra money to upgrade? No. No. But, bruh, really? Really? Really?